Just looking at Tennessee like last year, they maybe have struggled some, but they've also beat some really good teams. Just how do you stress how good they can be and how good they are to this team?
I think with Tennessee is, I mean, you're always playing a tradition. They are they're a team to be reckoned with. We all have played inconsistent at times during the season, but we know they rise to the challenge of playing really good competition, and I think we'll see a Tennessee team that kind of showed up for the Notre Dame game.
How has Alicia kind of approached this game, knowing she'll get to play against Diamond for the first time?
Well, both of them, Alicia and Kayla. Kayla grew up playing with Diamond, all of her young life. So both of them will, both of them will get a shot at it. But I think as far as competition, I know they both probably want bragging rights at the end of the game. So we want to make sure we can give them that.
You ever stop to think about how when you first took over this program, Tennessee was considered the powerhouse? Now, for the last 3 years, you guys have beaten Tennessee, and you are the ones running the conference show here in the SEC.
I'm motivated by what took place the first few years here at South Carolina. It's the reason why I came here. It couldn't happen at a place, like us, if we don't play in the SEC, if we don't play against the powers of Tennessee and the Georgias and the Vandys. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be able to play against competition like that, and obviously they put you in a position to win and to win big. And I'm just thankful we had the players and the competition to get us at this point. But we're not going to rest on our laurels. We want to continue to be the best team in this conference, and we know we're going to take some hits, and we know we're the targets, and we got to keep our guards up.
Dawn, you mentioned tempo as maybe being a little bit of an issue against Georgia. What have you done to kind of correct that, and what have you told Ty about handling what Tennessee will throw at her?
We need to play fast. Tennessee can play a lot of different ways. They can pressure you from a man-to-man standpoint. They can come back and play the 3-2 matchup zone. It shouldn't matter what they're in if we're pushing the ball down the floor, creating an advantage by pushing it and staying ahead of the possession. So we have to not walk the ball up the floor. We got to push it. We got to pass it. We got to keep ball movement going and create some fluidity to our offense.
I think they've had some issues with turnovers this year, particularly from the guard play. What have you told your players on defense about how to try to knock the ball loose?
Well, from our defense or their defense?
Your defense.
Our defense is really, encouraged by what I've seen the last 2 days and how we've been playing over the past few weeks. I just think that we need to lock in. We need to make them work really hard for everything that they get. And I think we're at a good place where we're doing that for really long stretches, almost 40 minutes for our team.
Coach, you'll be honoring Pat Summitt tomorrow. As a fellow great in this game, what has her legacy and impact on college basketball meant to you?
Well, I think you really can't thank her enough for allowing us. Like I grew up watching her she recruited me as a high schooler. She was our competition in college. She was somewhat of a colleague in the same conference, and every step of the way you only seen her do great things and wanting to grow the game. And every time we play Tennessee, and every time I think about Tennessee, I think about Pat Summitt and her legacy and what she's given to the game.
Coach, do you ever take stock in the fact that you guys have won 30 SEC home games, and what that means to how good your crowd's been in supporting you, and also the fact that you guys have been so dominant on your home floor against conference opponents?
Really haven't thought about it until it comes up. We just take one game at a time, but obviously it's an incredible feat. You just don't do that overnight. You just don't do that on the court. You need everybody. You need all hands on deck. Our fans, support from our administrators, support from the community, and when you have all of those things, you create something special, and they feel very much a part of, the 30 wins, and I don't know how many losses. I mean, 1 or 2 losses in our league, and that just doesn't happen by, just preparation and, putting a great team out there on the floor, because our crowd has won us a lot of those games, a lot of those close games. And they continue to do that. So it's become more of a lifestyle for them.
Talk about all the festivities you have for this game coming up. It's a special night. What went into that?
We wanted to do something different because Pat Summit is different, and pay tribute to her legacy at Tennessee. Hopefully it'll go over well. We don't want her legacy to die down. So the more we can keep her name in the forefront, I think the more we can continue to pay tribute to what she's given to the game and what she's meant to all of us. I know some of the players probably don't know exactly the impact that she had on the game, but the reason why they're able to play and get scholarship is because she fought really hard to make sure girls had the same thing as the guys had.
Coach, Asia was just talking about the Georgia game in the beginning. Communication lacked a little bit. As a coach, what do you do to try to get players talking, maybe if they come out kind of a little too quiet in the beginning of a game when you need to be communicating for all 40 minutes?
Yeah, this is a really quiet team, one of the quietest teams I've ever been around as far as just communicating out there on the floor. Part of it is, they're new. Like half of our team is new, so they're just trying to work through getting to know one another, and they don't know the quickest way to do that is to communicate. And Asia's one that talks. She does. She is always talking, always trying to rally the troops, always talking about what she sees out there on the floor. It just isn't quite contagious with some of the other ones because they're working through, what they need to do, and you got to work it in practice. You got to drill it. You got to force them. You got to get them on the line, and you got to make them pay for not talking because it shows up in places in the game in which are very important.
Are you concerned about it at all that they're a little too quiet, or is it just something you feel like it will come along and you're not overly worried about it making a big impact towards the end of the season?
Well, I'm worried to the point of we've played 19 games and it hasn't moved off of where it was, in game one. Maybe a little bit, but not to the point where when you're in a hostile environment, we create a hostile environment in our home court. So if you're not talking or you're not gesturing, what is it going to look like when we have to go on the road? And it's a place in which we have to communicate. We have to, not assume things. So that's what we're planning for. But, when we bring things to the forefront to this team, they usually make an adjustment and they usually execute. So we're hoping that takes place in the near future.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.